What is going on, everybody? It has been a while since I uploaded a video, but we are back, we are locked in, and I am ready for a massive week of trading. And also ignore the reflection back there. I got to figure out what to do with that. But today we are going to be talking about my SPY and QQQ levels to watch for this week, as well as ES and NQ. But real quick, as always, if you guys do find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, so as always, we want to look at the economic calendar before heading into next week. On Monday, we have durable goods at 8:30. Honestly, not going to pay too much attention to that. And then we have a Fed president speaking at 2. Again, personally, not going to pay too much attention to it. But Tuesday, we do have our home price index. I feel like that's definitely going to be a market mover. But what's going to be really important on Tuesday is going to be our consumer confidence. And this is going to be at 10 a.m. So if you're in an open position, definitely be very cautious because this tends to give some short-term volatility. And if you're in a position, it could absolutely screw you. So be cautious of that. Wednesday, Fed speaker at 6 o'clock. So the market's not going to be open. Personally, don't care about it. But going into Thursday, what's going to be really important is going to be our GDP second revision. So I do expect that to move the market. But also we have initial jobless claims, which is going to be important. And then again, because pending home sales are at 10 o'clock when the market's open, I would be a little cautious if you are in an open position. And then finally on Friday, we have our PCE index. Again, I do expect this to move the market. And then at 9:45, we do have PMI. So again, if you're in an open position, definitely be cautious of that because it tends to create short-term volatility. If you're not cautious, it could screw your position. And then finally, consumer sentiment final, again, is going to be very important if you're in an open position. Be careful, short-term volatility can be caused. That's everything as far as the economic calendar. So let's hop into these levels. All right, so first off, starting on the daily time frame, really not seeing too much. Really, if we crack this 565.20 level, I'm just looking for a continuation. And from there, if we take a pivot high to pivot low with the Fibonacci extensions and we add on our 127 extension, if we break above all-time highs, I'm going to be aiming for this 580 level. So that's everything as far as the daily. If we go to the 4-hour, however, we do still have this 4-hour supply zone that I was talking about last week in the pre-market live streams, which if you guys didn't know, I go live every single day, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Give you guys a completely free watch list for the day. So if you guys are not tapping into that, highly suggest you do. So what I'm going to be looking for early next week is if price can clear 563.20, I'm going to be looking for price to then push into that all-time high. And then if we crack that all-time high, again, look for that 580 price target in the future. So this is really my only reject level. Maybe we get a double top at all-time highs. We'll just have to see how price reacts. Breaking it down to a 2-hour time frame, really not seeing too much as far as a bounce. And then if we go to the 1-hour time frame, same thing, really not seeing too much for a bounce. And then finally, the 30-minute, same thing, don't see a really good bounce. So ideally with SPY, what I'm going to be watching, like I said, is if price can clear this supply zone, look to take it up into all-time highs and then higher after that. If the market started pulling back, really the only demand zone I have is way down here at 545. So that's about like $20 away. I don't expect us to get down there this week. But the way that that level comes into play is this 4-hour demand zone right here. So if you guys don't know how to draw supply and demand, I do have a whole video on my channel breaking it down. I will be leaving that link down in the description. Now it's going to be the same thing on ES, except if you are a futures trader, we are in that 4-hour supply zone right here. So what I'll be looking for is for price to break above 5665.25. The only difference between SPY and ES, however, is we do have a daily supply zone up here on ES. So that's going to start from 5688.75 all the way up into 5721.25. So again, this is why it's important to do your technical analysis both on SPY and ES, just because they trade slightly different enough to the point where you're going to see a level on ES or SPY that you won't see on the other. So I will be watching this daily supply zone right here. We'll see what happens. First, we got to clear this 4-hour supply zone right there. But as far as bounces, I mean, again, it's the same thing. The only area I really like for a bounce is going to be this 4-hour demand all the way down at 5490 to 5471.75. So if somehow, some way we get down there this week, I'm looking for a bounce, but ideally clear this supply, look to take it back up into that next supply. If we get above there, then again, we have that continuation higher because we will be trading at all-time highs. Next up, we have QQQ. Now with QQQ, what I'm going to be watching this week is if price can get above 488.8. After that, we have a very nice daily gap fill up into 493.15. So I will be looking for that push right there. And then if we get up into 493.15, I will be looking for a potential reject at this level. Really depends on the price action. And then we do still have some leftover supply in this area. So here's our small green basing candle before a large flush down. You can see we came up, rejected it here, and then flushed even further to the downside. So if somehow, some way we get up into this 499.70 to 503.50, I will be looking for a reject. But ideally, if we get above Thursday's high, look to take it back up into this gap entry right here. If we break above the gap entry, look for the gap fill and then a reject right here. Now, if we break it down to a smaller time frame, the only area I'm really seeing for a bounce is going to be this 4-hour demand zone right here. So from this green candle low at 462.9 all the way up to this open of the red candle at 465.50. So if we get down there, I will be looking for a bounce. Break it down to a 2-hour. We do have some supply left over up here as well on QQQ. So that's going to be from 483.85 all the way up into 485.50. And then I believe it was also on the 4-hour. Let's see. Yeah, so the 4-hour supply zone starts at 483, and then the 2-hour supply zone starts at 483.85. So again, this entire area right here, I'm going to be looking for a reject. If we clear that, take it up into here, look for the gap fill, potential reject there, and then bounce is going to be all the way down here at 465.40. And then finally looking at NQ. So you can see on NQ, we do have this 4-hour supply zone right here from 19,917 all the way up into 20,025. So looking at NQ, we do have a 4-hour supply zone right here from 19,917 all the way up into 20,025. So if we get up into that level, I will definitely be looking for a reject, but if we clear it, I'm going to be looking for that push even higher. And again, I'm going to be using a mixture of QQQ and NQ because QQQ does have that gap fill, so I will be looking for that. But ideally, what I would like to see is if this 78.6 lines up with the gap fill on QQQ, that would be a very high probability reject area. So you can see that 78.6 is coming from this pivot high to pivot low right there. And then again, as far as a demand area, that's going to be from this 19,211.75 all the way down to 19,104.75. So if price gets down into this area, I'm looking for a bounce, reject here, clear supply, look to take it back up into this high point right here. And again, hopefully this lines up with the QQQ gap fill because from there, we could look for a high probability reject. But that's going to be everything I'm watching this week on SPY, QQQ, ES, and NQ. As always, if you guys did find value in this video, make sure to smash that like button as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.